Yes, welcome back to another episode of Humanhood 101's Parental Confessions. We are here in the house. We are with a special guest parent for this interview, Mario the artist, Mario Lorne the artist. He is a Las Vegas master of his craft. I'm so grateful to have him here. He does work in the community. He does performance work. He's also a technician for animals on the low. He's got a ridiculous science background. But welcome to the show, brother.
Man, good morning, brother.
Yeah.
In essence, big word he said, master, bro. That made me, it's deep.
Listen, we're all here to do our best
Right.
with mastery. I think everything we do, we have to find that. We have to reach for that. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's true.
And above all things that he does, he's also a parent.
Yes.
Let me take off these headsets because this is about to get. Let me not even do the headsets.
He's getting comfortable with me.
We got to get comfortable.
He's getting comfortable, man.
Because
Let's do it.
And this is actually the first father parent rather, that I have on the show. So I'm excited, father to father, parent to parent,
Real.
artist to artist, entrepreneur to entrepreneur,
Yeah.
to get some of these confessions, because I know this brother got some stuff. So Parental Confessions, this is episode 3. Mario,
This gonna open you up, man. Let's do it.
tell us something about yourself. Just introduce yourself to the people.
Man. Mario Smith from the Bahamas. First and foremost, man, just shout out to the 242, everybody over there, family. Google Junkanoo right now. Go to YouTube. That's where I'm from. I'm a product of Junkanoo. I can't even say anymore, man. Just go look it up, and then when you look at my work and just my, background, my library of work, then you understand where it comes from. I was just raised in the art of presentation, man. It was, people go to school to study different degrees and different takes on life and what they want to become. But at an early age, man, I was growing on the art of presentation, not realizing that, this stage that I was presenting on was like one of the biggest stages for our culture in the Bahamas. Right. So I was getting groomed in that in a manner that, other 15 and 16-year-olds wasn't. Some of my peers that I would, be with, like, we would go to the same, like, studio, we call it the shack, but we would just be doing different things, right? So, like, I was just taught on the art of, I always liked drawing. And I had a cousin, man, you talk about a master, like, that's where I learned from, right? So I just always, like, just be around him, and, he would build these little models, and, I always wanted to just, like, do what he did, right? Until I would start to draw. And it was a period of time where I actually left the Bahamas, and, I was partially raised in Europe, in Holland. So,
World traveler.
Yes,
He's
I'm bilingual as well.
What language do you speak?
Dutch.
Oh,
Ja.
we gaan mij bitten.
Ja, so ik kan nog Nederlands praten.
Maar
So,
goed, dank je.
ja, ik kan goed Nederlands praten. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
man,
yeah, that's a bit of Dutch for you.
Yeah,
So,
I got a little bit. I got a little something.
I hear it in you.
Yeah.
But me and this brother right here, I don't know if y'all, but man, we are married. We're two married brother souls, brother. It took a minute to find, but I'm blessed. Back to the subject. But yeah, even back in Holland, man, I would have my aunt and, just send me tapes because I would just miss, the culture in the Bahamas so much. So she would send me tapes all the way to Holland, brother. Wow. And I was, me and my mom, we did like a little Junkanoo in the classroom over there. It was crazy. So we were like, I was just like advocating for it for years because that's something that I knew. Skip a few years later, man, I had a fortunate chance to just like, design an actual parade. And I took the opportunity, man, and did it. And you just learn so much. And I think that's where the whole, teaching process for me began, when I started learning like the behind the scenes and what it takes to, become an artist. And then, coming to Vegas a few years later, at the age of about 23, I just started to try to apply that professionally and what I've learned in my background, and it just kind of just worked in his own favor, right? So it just created his own little style. Like it created his own little avenue for myself, and I just applied it. And I think it people might say I've been successful. I don't think so. I think I've been fortunate. I think people look at success from different angles. So I'm just fortunate to be blessed with a talent or a gift, and I giving back to the community is just it was given to me. So I can't just like keep it, right. So it's right. It was given to me. It was just like tradition is something that's given. It's like an heirloom, man. It's like
that's amazing, man. You have an intense history behind you, so I could imagine your future. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So about or in regards to parenting, how many children do you have?
One.
I have one child.
Just one child. One child, man.
Son, daughter.
Son, Zion Maddox Smith. He's something else, man. He's an amazing kid. I've been blessed to be a dad, and shout out to his mother for raising an amazing son. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's an amazing person. Did a great job. Still doing a good job. Yeah. And it's just amazing just to share this journey with him. And parenting is not just a job. It's not easy. It's not hard. It's like I told you, man. I had to call my dad, and I was like, "Yo, Dad, thank you for being the father that you were, and how you talked to me and raised me, and just the way that you did it, because now I find myself doing it the same way."
Right.
My dad never included any type of negativity in his conversations. Like it's amazing that I reflect on it. Like the only time that I see my dad get upset, it was just because of other reasons, right? Like family reasons, like. Or, one time when I got in trouble at school, and I thought he was going to be pissed, but he was just calm and collective. Like he just told me my options, Yeah. So
that's dope. You sound like you had an advantageous childhood.
Man, it's, you don't get here by not, going through it. So
real talk. So Zion, first, only child. For now, right?
Done.
That's it? You're done?
One and done, man. Okay. I'm like a college player.
So I'll ask you the first question I always ask all my guests, because this is one of the most common common experiences that people talk to me about, whether they're clients, whether they're tribe members, whether they're questioning me in the DMs. Frustration, how they want to not be so frustrated with their child. And there's ways through and around that. But I want to ask you, do you ever get frustrated with Zion?
All the time, man. Like
all the time.
All the time. Like if you're not getting frustrated as a parent, then man, like it's patience, right? It teaches you. Like so he, as much as I'm teaching him, man, he's teaching me too. Like like certain things how I see and views that I have. Like you got to realize is this person is another individual too. Like he might be yours, but like don't forget like. You were him at one point, right? So like at one point you realize that, I have my own voice, like I have my own individuality, and people need to start respecting that. Yeah. And I think the hardest or the most frustration is you always see him as I always see him as this kid that I held when I was, breaking down in the hospital, because, that's my baby, you know what I mean? But he's growing and he's learning, different values in life. And, like I said, I know 90%, like you said, I know 90% of what is right and wrong. I'm still learning.
Right.
But, his value is every day is increasing on me, right? So, next week I might be down to like 87%. He might get that 3% from, his own little challenges to life. So it's going to become that time where we're going to be 50-50. And, that's when I got to cut that chain and be like, okay, now you got half of it. I gave you what I knew, and now you have your half. So you take your half, and now you build your 100. You know what I mean?
That's an awesome
So,
analogy. The way you even approach that is that's strong,
but
man.
it's true.
That's
Like,
so strong.
it's
That's so
true.
strong. Yeah, it's interesting how we all have and can have our approaches in parenting,
Yeah.
and I've never experienced or heard anyone take the approach you did. At least not express it the way you did. That's awesome. So give me a situation. What's the most frustrating thing you experienced? Like let me know what a crazy frustration experience is like with Mario and Zion. Like I want to know what drives you to like because I think all of us have been there as parents. Some of us are still there every day, but I know some of us have learned some ways to deal with that, and some of us go there every now and then. But I want to know, what was that? Rah!
Oh, man. Wow. So me and my son, man, our relationship, like I tell you no lie, brother. From the day he was born, this kid had a voice.
Okay.
The next day when I went to see him in the hospital, after he was born, and I went home get some sleep because I was up for hours. And the next day I went to go see him, brother. I'm all excited, nurse brings him in, and she's like, cool, it's time for him to get changed. And as I was changing him, man, he was grunting on me. He was fighting me from the first day. So I was like, oh boy, this kid is different, right? He's got his own voice. And man, I just learned to like, I don't know. It's really where like I gotta pick my battles with him. The ones that I know that I can win.
Yeah.
I kind of like I'm more stern on, but the other ones where I feel like he can have his own opinion, I kind of just let him talk to see where
it goes.
where he goes with it, and what knowledge he has behind what he's saying, and he backs it up, man. That's why I can't just like discredit him because he backs it up sometimes.
So
and
give me a scenario. I know you got one. Give me something.
just recently, man, with the kids with the vaccines, right? So
Okay.
I told him, I said, hey, you're in the middle of it because you have your own voice right now. Would you ask him? Would you want a vaccine? You know what's going on out there. You see the world, like you see what's happening. You see the importance of, setting examples and people that are not setting examples. That could be either side of the spectrum, right? From whatever view you look at it. But I told him, I said, hey, I'm your dad, but I'm not gonna enforce this on you. I can't. Like this is part of your freedom of speech. Like you want to be individual. Like we're gonna start honing this from now. So by the time you get 18, your voice is not only your voice, but it's your weapon, right? So I don't want you to learn this at 19. Like we're gonna get these fundamentals down now. So I'm giving him an option, and he goes, I don't want to get vaccinated. And I was like, well, why not? Let me hear your views on this. And as a parent, I'm like, oh, here we go, or that was my percentage of it. Me rolling my eye, like, oh Jesus, like what is my, what is gonna come? And I thought he was gonna be like, oh, this and that. He's like, no, dad, like if you click on the news and multiple channels, like there's kids that are getting sick from it, like not just because I don't want to take it, like I'm watching kids my age and seeing how it affects them. So I was like, okay, thank you. Right. You know what I mean? So he has an understanding of what, when I ask him certain things, like the basis of it. So I was like, okay, I can't argue with that.
So something in that conversation drove you to some form of frustration?
I wouldn't call it frustration. I think it's more heavily media associated, even for myself.
Yeah.
It's the content that you're constantly bombarded with.
Yeah.
It's either the spectrum is either it's a fine line right now, and you're either this way or you're either that way. I'm not gonna put either or on any side, but that's the world we live in right now.
That's still a very tough, touchy topic.
Yeah,
the vaccine. But to be able to present that to your child and give your child the liberty to choose for themselves how they go